Welcome back everyone. Black Clover Mobile is going to have a new character coming up next week on Wednesday, April 9. It was supposed to come out yesterday on April 2nd, but for some reason they postponed it to next week. Anyway, we're gonna talk about him today. Licht, Light of Dawn. He's going to be a green attacker. I wish it was like another color, maybe yellow or even purple, because we have tons of blue, red, and green ones, but anyway, this is what we get. Well, he's going to have his own banner for summoning and some testing for hopefully. And one thing to consider is that when the summoning ends, the special magician and special skill pages are not included in normal summoning. So he's basically same as Julius and Lumiere. He's a special mage, and you can't summon him again on the normal summoning that we have every day. So I guess it's worth pulling for him, because then you gotta wait probably quite some time so that you can pick him up again. Yeah, but before we jump into conclusion, let's check his skills and passives. I try to get this translated as accurate as possible, so let's check them out. First of all, let's talk about his passive. When battle starts, applies different effects depending on the number of support class allies. So we basically need to have a support team around him. One or more grants 30% reduced damage taken buff for 2 turns and 10% increased speed buff for 1 turn. So his speed is going to be high, and 30% for reduced damage is actually a good number for 2 turns, and you actually can have this for your entire battle since you have support units on your team. And 2 or more upon using a skill becomes invulnerable for 1 turn. This is only once per battle. This is good actually. Now that I'm thinking of, his speed is higher than Lumiere. So he's gonna attack first and becomes invulnerable. Then when Lumiere attacks, well, he won't take any damage, right? So he's kind of like countering Lumiere with his passive, which is amazing, because then Lumiere will kind of be out of play and you can kill everyone with Licht because he's an attacker as well. The passives for dupes: level 2, at the start of a turn, if a debuff is not present on self, grants 10% increased magic attack buff for 2 turns. So this is okay, not bad. Level 5, upon using a skill while 3 or more active buffs are present, attacks after granting 80% increased damage dealt buff. Wow, this is insane. 80% is crazy. And you need to have 3 or more buffs, which is not hard to have, especially when you're running with supporter units on your team, and 80% is just insane. But this is again level 5, so you need to max him out, which is hard to get. But anyway, right now I'm gonna say this is crazy, right? Now let's talk about his skills. His first skill attacks only 1 enemy for each buff present on self, attacks after granting a 10% increased damage dealt buff. So you still need a lot of buffs on him, and for each of them you'll get 10% increase. His base attack power is 110, so that's good. That's solid for just a regular skill. Skill number 2, again attacks 1 enemy, grants self extend buff duration by 1 turn. Wow, this is good. And if 5 or more active buffs are present, attacks after granting the increased magic level 3 buff, which is 70%. Wait, so yeah, 5 or more, then you'll get 70% increased damage on top of 160 base that you have. Oh god. And skill page addition: if 3 or more active buffs are present, grants all allies extend buff duration for 1 turn. This is great actually. If you could have his skill page, all your characters will get like extra buff obviously for 1 turn. And well, if you have 3 or more buffs. I don't think that's hard to get 3 or more buffs. We'll talk about that, but that's great. And this is also insane. If you could manage to have 5, I think it's easy to do that. We'll talk about the teams later on. Then you'll have 70% increased damage, and that's insane actually. Okay, now ultimate skill again attacks 1 enemy and attacks after granting a 20% increased damage dealt buff for each active buff present on allies. Wow, seriously. I hope this is a correct translation, because as I said, it's not an official one. I just got it translated. But if this is correct, then this is going to be brutal. So you have 3 allies, of course, and each of them, if they have like 2 buffs, that'll be 6. So 120 increased damage dealt with your ultimate skill. But he's attacking, his speed is high, so he might attack faster than your allies, but it depends on the team, right? So, well, this can get insane based on your team. Now, if 5 or more active buffs are present, attacks after granting the defense penetration level 3 buff, which ignores 30% of the target's defense. Wow, that's good. If 7 or more buffs are present, attacks after inflicting immortality removal on them. So removes the immortality. It doesn't make them immune to immortality. I guess this is good for the purple black divider Asta. So that kind of like one-shots him, like Lumiere skills, ultimate skill. But anyway, this is crazy. Insane amount of damage, ignores their defense if you get all the buffs right. So basically you need to, you know, build a team around him so that he can get as many buffs as he can. And the combo attack, usually the combo attacks on Black Clover sadly are not good enough. Attacks single enemy through operation, attacks after granting a self-weapon enhancement, 40%. Really? This is 40% level 2? I'm not sure, but that's it. So yeah, this is nothing crazy, but still. Anyway, his kit is basically based on buffs and increased damage dealt. So he has a lot of room to grow for sure, depending on your team and how you build himself, obviously. But then he can deal insane amount of damage. Just put the numbers on, like 160 plus 70 and then 230 plus 20 times the buffs that you got. Man, this is going to be crazy. I'm super excited to test him. Hopefully we'll get him out next week and I'll do a video on summoning him and trying to level him up and test him as well. So off the top of my head, I think the best team for him would be, or the best characters, supporters for him would be Sally for sure. Because like her second skill gives increased magic attack, increased crit rate, so this is 2 buffs, and also extends the buff duration. And her special skill, again, increase all attack, increase crit damage, so that's 4 buffs in total. And pretty sure Kaiser as well. Second skill of Kaiser, increase crit rate, increase all attack, weapon enhancement, level 3 is 50, so I think that was level 2 for Licht, and probably the 40% is correct. And also this one, counter attack, reduce damage taken, total defense. Wow, this is like crazy amount of buffs, so he'll definitely get those increased attacks. And wow, that's going to be insane, to be honest. Also Sekre will be good for him, so yeah, you need to have like 2 supporters to maximize his passives. I just realized Kaiser is a defender and not a supporter, but still he gives like crazy amount of buffs to Licht. And Sekre is good for just defense and keeping your team running. And yeah, that's it for now. I'm super excited for him. I think he's going to be an insane damage dealer aside from Lumiere. And kind of he can counters him because of his passives over here. Which one was it here? Yeah, this one. So you need to have 2 supporters, so then you'll be invulnerable because his speed is higher than Lumiere. You attack first, you'll be invulnerable, and then Lumiere attacks, can't hit you at all, and then you go all out on him because then you'll have all the buffs from your other teammates, right? Then probably you can one-shot him. I'm not sure. Again, we just gotta wait for him to come out and check his stats, try to build him up and put him on some tests with different like team members and see how much damage he can exactly deal on the enemies. And yep, so wait till next week, save on your black crystals, and we'll go crazy on him and see how it goes. Have fun and stay tuned.